I hate seeing studios close because it's like, you know that there's so many people that feel like that's their second home. I think there's 3 or 4 studios closed in our area in the last 4 or 5 months. And that's not a win. I hate seeing it because you see like relationships get torn apart. So you owe it to your people to make it work. And you owe it to your people to do the best you can.
All right, team, welcome back to another episode of the John Mark Unfiltered podcast. I'm back on the intros. Now, I'm here with Benny.
Hello, hello.
And we've got a very special guest, Kai from G3 Narellan.
Yeah, mate.
How are you?
I'm good, man.
Are you nervous?
A bit.
Good man. Now, quickly, we've got a nickname for you. But like,
does he know it?
You don't even know it. At the start, when you and Kane first joined, shout out to Kane, I honestly thought you guys were brothers. I honestly thought you were brothers.
Big bro.
Yeah, you said you were big bro, and Kane was little bro, right? And it was like a team meeting. It was like, okay, there's little bro and big bro. So you've been big bro for like a couple of years now. Welcome to the podcast, big bro.
Thanks, man.
Now, the reason I wanted to get you here is because when you first started with us, we've got your first numbers. So we've got the laptop open. You'll see this on YouTube. We've got the laptop open. Young Benjamin's looking at your numbers, which you submit every single Friday. You've never missed. And your first submission was
103 members.
And
revenue?
Yeah.
29K.
So your first submission was 29K. Now, last Friday, at time of recording this, we're like start of November, last Friday you submitted your numbers and you're in the 80s club. You're in the $80,000 club, right? So I want to break that down a little bit. So this isn't like a testimonial episode where, again, you've been held hostage. I actually want to break down, when we look at your numbers in every submission that you've submitted for, when was it?
May last year, May 23.
May last year. How many members you got now?
Right at about 250.
Yeah. So you've gone from 100 to 250. 29,000 and you've just punched into 80,000. And it wasn't like you weren't trying at the start. You'd come to us from another place that we won't mention, Superfit. But then Benny rang me the other morning and goes, fucking Big Bro's cracked into the 80s. I was like, motherfucker, is he? Yeah. And then he said, but what's really interesting is, so that's why we're here. Okay. So we're going to run through what Benny's kind of found interesting about looking at these actual numbers without talking about tactics and shit like that.
Yep.
Yeah. I suppose like, I don't even need to go too far back. Like even just like the last couple of months. Like, so we look at our numbers here. They're all sort of color coded. So we get the full view of your business every single week, right? So obviously red means it's slow, it's a work in progress. Orange means there's room to improve it. Green means you're at the KPI. And then super green, blue means like you're absolutely flying. So something like I've noticed with your numbers, you know, almost triple your revenue and 2.5 times your member number. Like everything would always have to be like at KPI and super green, like perfect across the board. But when I look at your numbers, like it's not actually the case, right? So even going back the last couple of months, something that I can see in your numbers is like you've been working on your lead flow, but it was a handbrake for you. So back in like July, it was red and it was stuck in red, and then I can see you working on it. It goes up to orange and then bang into the super greens. But the thing that's sort of compensated for like slower lead flow is I can see you've got the results on other KPIs. So like your sales conversion, like it's almost elite super green every single week. Well, there's not many weeks that you miss on the sales, right? And then what do you do with those sales? Like you roll them over at elite levels, week in, week out, like you're hitting those benchmarks. So it's almost like academic. Like if you get an extra lead or two, it doesn't really matter because you'll take them down on the front end, you'll take them down on the back end. And then, you obviously run a pretty good show because your engagement is like almost 4 visits a week for every single member. So like you don't have a churn issue at all. And then you add those things up and like that just stacks up to that, like that net growth week in, week out, week in, week out. You didn't go from 100 to 250 plus like with a simple tactical tool. It was just that I can just see you've just focused on the craft and hitting the numbers week in, week out. Like what's the focus? Where's the room to improve? And then the attention goes to that metric. So what your numbers tell me is there's no trick shots. You've just learnt the craft of installing like a growth system to your business.
Feels good.
Does that sound about right? Like,
look,
what's it been like on the inside?
It still feels like a work in progress. Like, like when you messaged me about like jump on the potty, I'm like, dude, I'm not ready because I feel like I've still got so much growth and like areas where I need to improve. And like on the inside, there's things we know we do well, and then there's areas I know I need to improve.
Okay, what do you know you do well?
I feel like we do community really well.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because looking at your gram, State of Origin parties, like you jumping on squat racks for people, and then I feel like I want to be down there and train with you guys.
Yeah, I feel like our organic growth is great.
Yes.
And we do community stuff and community events really well. Like a lot of that, the rollover percentage will be based on like a lot of organic leads.
Yeah.
Because members want to bring family and friends in.
Is that right?
Yeah. But then like where I need to improve is like definitely making sure my teams know their roles, make sure I get people doing the correct roles.
But you didn't have a team at the start when you came to add 100 people, 100 members. What did the team look like then?
Me and Kane.
It was you and Kane, right?
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a two-man show. Yeah.
So who was the first hire?
What would have been then? I had another coach, but the big key for the business was George. Yeah, he's my right-hand man.
Your right-hand man.
Yeah. He's that guy that like members come in. We're at a Melbourne Cup event yesterday.
I saw, bro. You look dapper, man.
It was a fun day. So like a few of our members were together. They invited me, George, and another coach to the day for him. So we went out and
Who was at the studio?
I still had I had team there. We still had team. We had still coaches on the floor. One of the guys that was there, the guy invited us. Like he thought George was an owner because he treats it like it's his.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to George, eh?
Yeah, he's good, man.
So when did you bring George in?
He'll be with us over 12 months now.
So when did he come in? Last November-ish?
Well, maybe a little bit before because he brought up 12 months a couple of months ago, I think.
What was like the trigger point for you to decide, oh, I'm ready for George now? Or was it like, did you hit a number first or was there a target? How'd you make that decision?
So Kane was part of the business.
Yeah.
He left the business. So Kano, like good mate of mine,
Yeah.
he's got his Blackson studio. He was trying to do two and he was kind of split between the two.
Yeah.
And then he just felt like trying to spend time at Narellan, he wasn't being able to give his whole time and effort and energy into Blackson. And
Absolutely.
And he needed to be.
Yeah.
Like he needed to be not just for himself, but for his people. Yeah, so he made the decision. We had a conversation. It was a real clean break, and it was the best thing for both of us.
Yeah.
And I needed someone to replace him.
Yeah.
And,
Did you say November last year is when George came on?
it would have been a couple of months before it.
Yeah. Okay. So what your numbers are telling me, like we've got something that we call the hustle zone. Like, so you can kind of like hustle your way to like about 150 members. And that's exactly where you were when George came. Like an owner, like a single owner can only pull so many shifts, can only make so many sales calls, can only run so many classes before they hit the wall. Like what gets you to 150? You need a totally different skill set. And like you've literally hired George at about 150 members.
Wow.
That has unlocked everything else.
Fuck.
Yeah. The next key to the puzzle was Callie, and she was 12 months ago, I think, this week.
Wow. And what's Callie's role?
So Cal's is going to be moving into, she'll be studio manager.
Oh, wow.
So we're
Does she know that or is this breaking
No,
live?
she knows it.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
We're just formulating a role, and then we'll piece her hours out because I want to make sure that I think it's still key that people spend time on the floor. Like
100%.
that's your connection to your members.
Yeah.
Like I spend 20, 25 hours on the floor myself still.
Because you want to?
Yeah, that's my jam. Yeah.
No, because you have to.
No, my jam.
And that's
Love
the
it.
difference though,
Yeah.
bro. That's the difference is like you've got that optionality. Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of owners, and I see it, and like they work towards moving themselves off the floor, but the back end stuff, to me, that's what feels like work. The floors that I love.
Perfect. Okay, so Callie was the next piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
What else?
She's just got that personality that everyone loves.
Great.
Yeah, so everyone loves cows. She's starting to take a lot of the roles and stuff and like the admin stuff from behind the scenes. So she's
Which is the stuff that feels like work to you, right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah, and so that were two big pieces of the puzzle, and like I've now got 7 trainers. The rest are kind of part timers, and a lot of those guys have come from my member base. They live it, they breathe it, they
Members
love
made the best trainers, eh?
it. Yeah,
Safe to be a member.
yeah.
Something that we say a lot between ourselves is like there's a different devil at every level. So what are some of like the things that have come up as you've grown that you go, oh Jesus, I didn't realize I'd have to solve that problem as I was growing?
Probably, oh man, to be honest, I started to change our system. I started to add other classes to be able to fit people. Fucking hate waitlists, man.
Same.
Waitlists fucking drive me nuts because to me it's like I don't want to have 55 AMers because I can't fit them. And if I have 55 AMers, then I have to fit them. So like as we started to grow, we started to get to that problem where it consistently day in day I was getting waitlists on my busier classes. So for me, a resolution was to add another class to free up space or to give people another option at a certain time. So I started to look at ways that we could add some more value to what we provide, but also to solve the problem of creating space and making sure that people could train at a certain time they need to train. Yeah, so we started to work out ways we could provide more.
So it's like utilization, how to fit everyone in, basically, right?
Yeah, well, it done twofold. Like it gave us more members because for sure I could create more space, but then it gave members extra value because we're providing more as part of what we do.
That's crazy, man. So you've gone from 100, big bro, little bro, to then you started realizing that there was pieces of the puzzle missing. So you just went and started finding those extra little bits.
Yeah.
The missing pieces. George, Howes, then what else?
And then realizing like I don't want those two guys spread thin, and it was just working out where I needed other people in the team. So there was coaches that I brought from the member base. There was T, Benny and Matty. They're my three main guys at the moment. I actually did luck out. I brought a guy that left another studio in the area. There's another George, so I've got two Georges. Makes it super confusing.
George 1, George 2.
Yeah. Well, it's Big George and Little George. But Little George calls himself Big George.
They all do. They all do.
Yeah. He identifies as a Big George.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I identify as a six-pack, but I don't know what
Yeah, they've really complimented the team. Like you said, members make the best coaches because they really believe in what you do. And
Well, they know how it feels.
Yeah.
When things, I mean, no doubt when you look at those numbers, it wasn't a linear.
No.
It wasn't like an escalator,
up
right?
and down, and there's been some pops and some dips. Like, it's not a straight line up. Definitely not.
So I think that's a bit of a story too, right?
Yeah.
Like the key to, 2.5xing a studio is not just a straight line up.
No.
So when you go in those moments where you're reporting numbers and you're like, fuck, I'm going down, how do you not panic and just want to eject? Like, how do you not?
I believe in what we do. I believe in what we provide. And I think it's like your members do too. You feel like you owe it to your members to make it work. I hate seeing studios close. Like as you said, I hate it because it's like, that there's so many people that feel like that's their second home. Like we've had, I think there's 3 or 4 studios closed in our area in the last like 4 or 5 months. And it's not a win. Like I hate seeing it because you see like relationships get torn apart. So you owe it to your people to make it work, and you owe it to your people to do the best you can.
So you really take it as a sense of responsibility.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
What's been different to, like, you don't have to name them, but like at the service level, what's different in your studio to the ones around you that are closing down? Like, how are you doing things differently?
Well, for me personally, I feel like not owner operated. Like somebody owns a studio,
the investor model,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Like I'm heavily involved. The members see me every day. Like I make sure I space myself evenly across the day and the afternoon shifts, so I see everyone the same as best as I can. And like all my coaches train within our gym. Like all my coaches train in the gym.
So they live and breathe it.
They live and breathe it. They love it. Yeah. Yeah.
It makes sense. Yeah. Like in terms of how you you got to that hustle zone and then you grew from there. Like the investor model is one thing that we see, like you've got to be really careful with it. And like the other thing is it's like rife in the investor model, but also like a lot of owners will do this as well. They hire too fast. So, all right, like I've opened my gym, so I need a manager, I need a head trainer. They just hire everyone before like they've actually got the runs on the board.
Yeah.
Before the business can actually support all these roles, they go and hire them. Whereas like I said, what you've done is like, you've got the runs on the board, you've built momentum, and then you've created the room for the next person, and you create that next level up, and then you make the next hire. Like it's really smart. Whereas a lot of people will just go, yep, I'll just hire the full team. And they hope, like there's no plan, they just hope that it's all going to work out, but it doesn't, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Advice for other owners who were where you were, knowing that you've taken the steps and you're older, wiser, and you've been through the ups and downs, what would your advice be to other owners that are still stuck at that 150 in that hustle zone?
I feel like a lot of owners are scared to spend money. And they're scared to spend money to grow, and you just feel like you have to. Quick story, like when we signed up with Geronimo, so we're at about 100.
Fuck, it took me a long time to close you.
You can blame my wife for that.
Love that.
She's like, we can't afford it. And we couldn't. So funny story. So I think I signed up with you guys. I'm pretty sure it was a 10-week program.
Yeah.
And it was, you could pay week to week, or it was like a discount to pay up front.
Yeah, for like $10,000.
Yep. And I was, so one I had to convince Kane, and 2 I had to convince my wife. And convinced Kane, but there wasn't money in the business. So I cheekily, and sorry to my boys that are hearing this, I was running a punk club at the time. So I was managing a punk club. So I held the punk club account, and I'm like, look, they're not going to know that there's money coming out of that. We're going to win. And then I was plugged the money straight back in. So I pulled I pulled money out of the punk club, put it into the business to pay for the program. And then like looking at what the weekly was moving forward, like my sell to Kane was like, mate, we just need 10 members.
Yeah.
We hold those 10 members. That's just going to pay for Geronimo from here on forever. So we just need 10 members. I think we got 10 members in the first week.
Fucking oath you did.
Yeah.
And then after the 10, it wasn't even 10 weeks, man. I think after like 3 or 4 weeks, I put the money back, and we just started to take off.
Yeah. Shout out to the punk club.
Sorry, boys.
Jump in. Quick.
But I just yelled out from from the background. I don't know when it was, maybe a year ago actually. You were like, Soph, I hate to do it, but I think I'm going to need to turn you guys off for a bit. because I'm short on cash. I was like, well, you can, or you can just make some more fucking money.
Yeah,
what do you want to do?
yeah. I don't think I was too convinced when I actually made that call.
Yeah, I don't think you were either. I was like, what are you doing? All right, get back in there.
I think that was my wife over my shoulder, like
just type it out now.
With her hand up my ass.
But there's a running theme here, right? Like everyone's entitled to a bit of a wobble. Yeah. And then eventually they get to us and we just go, fucking grow up. Like, just make some just call the leads.
Yeah.
And okay, you're right. Everything you talked about, Bexy talked about, Vic must will probably talk about, and everyone else that we highlight on this podcast
Shout out to
as
Bex
well.
man too.
Shout out to Bex. No, bro, she shouted you out. You're the real reason.
Dude, she's a rock star.
Yeah, she's a rock star. But thanks to you as well. But there's belief. There's got to be belief there. And you've got belief. There's got to be a sense of responsibility there. And you've got that with like your community, your family. Bexy had it, Vic had it. And there's got to be a sense of like just being able to back yourself and like you can see a future that doesn't exist quite yet, but you're just going to do whatever it takes to make it work and to see that come to light. Otherwise, well, you fall in the habit like Bexy kind of did at the start before she changed who she was. You just kind of fall in the habit of quitting on yourself. And well, no one wins with that one. You know, you don't realize what your true hidden potential is. And you and your awesome team to be able to provide the transformations that you are at Narellan, who had to go through a transformation first?
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
That's both the pressure and the privilege of being an owner and being a leader and being responsible for so many people. 250 plus, big team. It's a big area out there.
Yeah.
And like all those other studios that are closing, they end up at your place and you've taken on that responsibility. Yeah, like you said, it's not a win. Like it's not actually a win taking people from somewhere else, but like there's a responsibility that you have to like bring these people into shelter and then give them that transformation and that third space that they're looking for. What are you excited for next, dude? What's your next goal or the next piece of the puzzle that you've got to fill in?
Yeah, cool. I'd like to start providing more. Like I'd like to look at adding like another option of classes. Ooh. Because I want to make sure that members that have been with us for a while always feel like they don't have to leave to do something else.
Oh, like what?
Like I wouldn't mind, we're looking at adding like a big lift program.
Ooh.
Yeah, so looking at adding Olympic lifts and then like a bit of more functional cardio to go along with it.
Yeah.
Because like our program, we're like strength heavy, muscle splits, different days of the week. And then other stuff we do calisthenics, mobility, obviously run HIIT classes.
Recovery, do you do all that?
We run mobility. So we do a lower body, an upper body and a full body, run 3 mobility sessions a week. That works pretty well. But yeah, just looking at other stuff we can add. And then just looking at growing to a point where we're busting at the seams. We need a bigger space.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that'll be the big plan.
No.
So like when I first went into it, I had the grand plan of 2 or 3 studios. Like, and now I'm in it. I don't really want to spend my time anywhere else. Like I care about my people that much and I love my people. I don't want to go anywhere else. I don't really want to spread myself between 2 or 3 studios. Like if I can grow what we have and stay within the business and be around my people, then that'd be the best win for me.
It's also smart.
We've seen it. You don't have to like 2 or 3x your amount of businesses to 2 or 3x the total return. Because the real talk is like if you open another site, you're doubling your rent, you're doubling your team, you're doubling everything, not just your revenue, you're doubling everything.
Yeah.
Versus like just going deep in that one concept. The one name that comes to mind is Capo down at Tribe. He's just gone so deep in his one studio, 900 members, like all these different revenue levels. Like he spent 11 years perfecting that before he even entertained the thought of going to the next thing.
Right.
I think it's very easy, very like tempting to go, now that we're getting full, we'll just open another one and it'll be just as easy, but it's not.
Yeah, gotcha.
From the start, I remember you said to us, if we gave you a task, you were going to do it. And I almost think that's been your superpower along the way. It's like you just needed the plan and then we would trust you that you would execute on that. You then said that you had a goal of hitting a certain milestone number by your birthday. You remember that? And then you hit it.
Yeah.
How did achieving that goal feel for you?
Yeah, it was special, man, because it was, when I said it was a lofty target, like it wasn't a soft one. Like it was going to be challenging. Yeah, it was cool because you kind of had that number and like remember number, as you said, that's not everything, but you just, you know, like it feels like it's not a finish line, but it's like the next.
It's a milestone.
Yeah, it felt very special.
But what did it prove to you?
We're doing something right. Like to see other studios close in the area and the industry be tough right now, but we're trending in the right direction and doing it in a pretty good speed to prove that we're doing something right and we're looking after people.
Yeah. But what did you realize about yourself maybe?
Yeah, I don't think about that too much, eh?
I know. That's what I'm asking you.
That everyone that believed in me was right, I guess. Because it was that, like when I first went into it, it was I came from a tradie, like I was a tradie, I was a printing background.
We remember, like our first few calls with you. What's that noise in the background, dude?
So it was Like the one company for 20 years, it was what I knew. The trade's a dying trade. I spent 7 years as a manager. I didn't really particularly like managing people. Like I really struggled to be someone's boss when I had that like personal relationship with them, that connection with them.
Yeah.
And yeah, didn't know what I wanted to do. So when the idea came up about opening a studio, we had a studio in Penrith, and the studio owner, he was the one that brought it up to me. And when the penny dropped that it was a possibility, like when I first went to my wife, trying to get emotional about it.
That's all right.
She's not a risk taker, like at all.
Yeah.
She will not take risks. Like
Yeah.
she's someone that'll put $5 in the poker machine, get the $6, hit the eject button, and hit the eject button. Does not take risks. But when I told her what I wanted to do, like she didn't hesitate.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that felt special. Yeah.
Wow.
So to get to be able to prove to people that we could do it, that felt pretty good.
Wow. That's unreal, dude. Well, you blew fucking 50 past that, by the way. Like you smashed it. You absolutely smashed it.
And we're not done.
And you're not fucking done.
Yeah.
So how's it changed the way that you set goals now?
I'd probably set myself close to unrealistic ones. I feel like I want to try to push myself and my team to be as good as we can. And I feel like there's still more in the tank.
Oh, God, mate, honestly, we can't wait to see what you're going to do next. Like, we just know, like, we can see there's more in you as well. We can see there was more in Bexy and a lot of people in the academy. So, yeah, mate, we just wanted to bring you on here to say congratulations. And I know you're not the type to sit around and pat yourself on the back too much, but we're patting you on the back because you've done a terrific job from the big bro that we first saw on the Zoom screen to 150 members ago to who you are now with the team that you've built around you. And you've just done it in the most humble way. Like you've just gone like, okay, there's a missing piece. Let me work on that. Let me work on that. And the team that you've built, reflected through the community that we can see through your Instagram, dude. I can absolutely, like, I want to fucking train there. If it wasn't an hour away, I would be there. Go and try and get I want to get traps like yours. But mate,
open invite, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
Whenever
Thank
you
you. There might not be enough weights for you and I train at the same time, though. So, mate, from the bottom of our heart, we absolutely love having you part of the academy, dude. There's a lot of people that look up to you, and we definitely wish you all the best, and I can't wait to see what you're going to come up with next.
Really appreciate it, man. Wouldn't be here without you guys. Yeah, it's been an awesome journey. I love how you've got someone in the team that has their role and responsibility.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty cool that you've actually built your business around the way you would on a studio.
Yeah, I know, right?
Exactly the same.
I didn't realise
it.
until I think one of these guys said it the other day. I was like, oh, yeah, we kind of have.
Yeah, legit. Yeah.
You're a legend, man.
My man.
See you in the Gold Coast.
Can't wait.
We'll fucking rock on.
Let's go.
Thanks, brother.
My man.